Hey, welcome back. The Herd is coming up next right here on FS1. Doug Gottlieb is in for Colin. Hey, Doug, what is on the show today?
Well, I think we'll be talking about LeBron James and how he is perceived, or maybe how he misperceives himself. Boy, David Griffin did some talking, and it seems like he's actually quoting LeBron James. Get to that at the top of the hour.
Interesting. Thank you, Doug. Time for our final topic of the day. There's a big new rule in the NFL with teams now allowed to challenge pass interference. We saw it in action for the first time last night when a Broncos defensive back was called for pass interference. Denver challenged the call, but it was upheld. Shannon, what was your reaction to this?
Well, Skip, this was easy. I mean, this is not the Saints rule. If the flag had been thrown in New Orleans, this would be a moot point. It's when there is no flag thrown that you get the challenge. That's going to be the hard part. This was a very easy. This was a no-brainer right here. I mean, I think Coach Fangio just wanted to challenge and say, well, I'm the first guy to ever do this. But, Skip, what's going to be hard is that when there's no flag thrown, you think you're getting off the field on third down or fourth down, and all of a sudden, here comes the challenge flag, and I want to challenge a play over here on the side that nobody saw. That's going to be the headache.
So, by the way, you went into the Hall of Fame where you're about to go now, but you went in as a Denver Bronco, correct? And your new Denver Bronco coach last night embarrassed himself and maybe the organization because I loved the new rule, the new capability to challenge. I did not love the first ever challenge. And maybe Coach Fangio was having trouble with his kidney stone because he was suffering that last night. I don't know. Maybe it affected his thinking pattern because the Denver DB is holding his jersey. He's got his left hand up and is tugging on the jersey. What are you talking about? It was the most blatant, I'm not going to challenge this kind of call you could ever have because it was blatant pass interference. And it stood, you know, why would you even slow down the game for that?
I thought it was all of a sudden there was no flag when I think it was interference. I thought the offense would throw it. Why would you challenge?
I don't know.
So obvious.
I don't know. I'm embarrassed for your Denver Broncos,
that is it
the
for
new
us.
coach.
We'll be back Monday morning at 9:30 Eastern. Rob Parker. So, Rob, how much trouble is Jerry in with all of these contracts?
He's in a little trouble from the standpoint that I think I'm surprised that Jerry is not just going to take care of Ezekiel Elliott from the standpoint, this is the same guy that he went to bat for with the commissioner. Remember, even tried a coup to get Goodell out. He was so outraged about the suspension. So you have one of those situations. You're Jerry Jones trying to win a championship, which you haven't been able to do since when? Jimmy Johnson, Skip, right? He parted ways with Jimmy Johnson.
Yep.
Shannon, here it is. Your opportunity's there. Your window's open. Your championship biological clock is ticking, Jerry. What are you doing? And this is one of those situations where, yeah, he wasn't expecting this. You didn't expect Dak Prescott, Skip, in the fourth round to wind up being your franchise quarterback. So you made a trade. Amari Cooper came and was big time for you. And you know what? When you gave away a first-round pick, you expected you're going to have to pay some money for the guy.
Yep.
And now you have the best running back in the league. So you got to figure it all out. But to sit around and wait and play this game when you know Ezekiel Elliott is going to be the reason why you have a chance to win a Super Bowl or not. And I mean the number one reason. I get all the other pieces parts. He needs to get this done and stop playing around. Here's my problem. You wait, play that Emmitt Smith game, Skip. You were there, right? The first two games. You got an easy schedule. Giants, Washington, Miami. God forbid you go in not fully loaded, lose one or two of those games, and then you know what? It might cost you a bye. You might win the wild card rather than the division. You should go in this year fully loaded, expected. And I don't want to see Ezekiel Elliott in week 4, Skip, trying to get back into shape, playing shape. If I'm Jerry Jones, get it done. Pay the man. Just pay him.
Are you rooting for the Cowboys?
No, I'm not rooting for the Cowboys, but I'm rooting for Ezekiel Elliott to get paid because he's done nothing but produce since he's been here. And don't give me the off-the-field stuff. The Cowboys lead the league, other than maybe the Bengals and felons, on their team. And you know this, Skip. Greg Hardy, he's gone out. You're not putting together a boys' choir. He's done it before. So you can't use that against Ezekiel Elliott now.
Okay. By the way, we have fellas. We don't have fellas.
You got fellas.
Yeah.
Better way to put it.
Skip, the thing is, I think the three guys, they have the leverage because they've outperformed their contracts. And the question is, Jerry, if all three guys had underperformed their contracts, would you have taken this long to cut them as you are taking this long to reward them for outperforming their contract? Absolutely not. You see, the thing is, Skip, you keep saying this is a great problem to have, and it would be if Zeke wasn't up, if Zeke had 3 years left, if Amari had 2 years left, if Dak had 3 years left. Yeah, that's a great problem to have coming down the road. It just so happens everything reached a crescendo basically at the exact same time. You built your team around your ability to run the football and play action off of that. That's why you took 3 linemen in the first round, and they turned out to be all pros. You compensated them. Ezekiel Elliott has led the league in rushing 2 of the 3 years, but he's led the league in yards per game since he's been in the league. And then you have Dak Prescott, a 4th-round pick that you thought was just going to hold a clipboard, sit behind Tony Romo. Tony Romo gets hurt, and yada, yada, yada. Next thing we know, Dak has played his way into $30+ million a year, probably $100 million guaranteed. Skip, you're asking for trouble by doing it this way. You're leaving a sour taste in guys' mouth because you got to pay Amari Cooper because you gave up a first-round pick. If you don't sign him, you basically forfeited your first-round pick of 2019. That's why and you knew this. You knew Amari was going into his contract, his option year on the contract. You knew Dak was in the last year, and you waited. You let Russell Wilson set another market. You set Aaron Rodgers, and then you let the guy walk it to him. Get $38 million with $108 million guaranteed. Skip, that's your market. You're in trouble. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Actually, I don't. But you better get it done or else.
So, Rob Parker, as you notice right now, my man Shannon Sharp is in all his glory. He is so happy because he's on his way to Canton, Ohio. He's going to rub gold jacket elbows with all the other Hall of Famers. And you know what the topic du jour will be? How about them Cowboys? They're in big trouble now because Jerry can't pay all 3 of them, and Jerry's effing it up. And then Jerry's, right? That's all. That'll be the topic on everybody's lips because everybody wants to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Can't stop talking about the Dallas Cowboys. Unfortunately for you, Mr. Sharp, it is only August the 2nd. Right?
Yep.
I should say happy birthday, Ernestine, tomorrow, August 3rd.
Tomorrow, the 3rd.
Happy birthday, Tom Brady, because Ernestine, Tom Brady, they got that in common, greatness, right?
Tom Brady. Ernestine don't want you. First of all, Skip, Ernestine wants her own happy birthday. She don't want to be combined with no Tom Brady. Stop that.
So I remind you, it's only August 2nd, and the season opener isn't until September the 8th? Huh. That's a long way away, right? What do you always tell me? He who laughs last laughs best. I will have the last 3 last laughs before September 8th because, as Jerry said yesterday, when have I not got one of these done? He always gets them done. When it comes to money, Jerry is genius. When it comes to salary cap, he invents loopholes. He creates new ways to get creative with the cap. And you'll sit back and say, how did he do that? Because Jerry has genius when it comes to money. Maybe not football decisions.
Oh, I'm glad you said that.
Okay, I'm not saying it. But when it comes to making money, spending money, genius. He has revolutionized the way he makes money within the confines of the National Football League. Am I right, Mr. Sharp? He will figure this out. Again, Zeke went the wrong way. I told you this from the start because I know Jerry. Zeke should have showed up the first day in camp and buddied up to Jerry, and he would have gotten his deal much quicker and much better and much more easily if he had gone the easy way, the sweet way. I love you, Jerry, and Jerry'd love him back and give him his deal. Instead, Jerry's going to fight fire with fire. Zeke wants to play hardball. He wants to miss camp and go to Cabo. That's hardball for Jerry.
But, Skip, don't you think now, I think the running backs in this league, the CBA doesn't